Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you read that.
Fine.
Good. Good. So. Hello, clerk. All right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just waiting for a few counselors to take their seats, but while I'm waiting, I will read our land acknowledgement. Today we recognize the Initiative Act, the Haudenosaunee, and the Attawandaron as the customary keepers and defenders of the Great Turtle Island, its waters and its lands. We honor their long history in welcoming others to this beautiful territory. Our aim is to uphold and uplift their voices and values as a host nation. I will go, I'm going to go over to councilors concern, but I'm going to request that A be separated and read separately, and then B and C can be read together.
All three read separately.
No, A, just A needs to be read separately, and then B and C can be read together.
Okay, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Luciani. That council reconvenes open session 6 p.m. and reports the following from the meeting closed to the public. That council receive that the report via Downtown BIA Board of Management delegation be received, and that council approve the following motion. Whereas the Downtown Business Improvement Association Board of Management is a board of the municipality, whereas council made the board, appoints the board members, oversees the budget, and is responsible for the well-being of the board and organization. Be it that council hereby supports the board with a letter of support and transparency to the public on what was the word? Communication platforms, stating that the Downtown BIA Board of Management is a board of council, that the mandate for the Downtown BIA Board of Management is promoting business and beautification, and that the town of Tillsonburg Council supports and defends the Downtown BIA Board of Management.
I'm gonna turn the chair over to you because I don't want to ask anything.
Prior to calling that question, which I'll do in a moment as deputy mayor, the mayor has asked me to take over the meeting and ask if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. Are there any?
Yes, but there's yeah, well, I declared in closed session.
Thank you. Any further? Any persons?
Yeah, I declare from August the 11th meeting, I declare pecuniary interest because my son owns a business in the downtown core, and I declare tonight for the same reason that my son owns a business in the downtown core. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's noted that 2 councillors have declared pecuniary interest and in the resolution that was just read. Are there any questions for the resolution that was just read? Questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. I'll turn the meeting back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So now it'll be B and C. Yes.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Luciani, that council received the information and update on the town hall project, and B, that council received forward information report, earth negotiation updates, communications plan, CLD CAO 25-006, and provided direction to staff.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next, we move to the adoption of the agenda. Councilor Luciani.
Well, myself, second by Councillor Parker, that the agenda as prepared for the council meeting of September 8th, 2025 be adopted.
Any comments from council? Those in favor? Carried. Now I will hand the chair back to the deputy mayor. So, number 5.
Disclosure of pecuniary interest. That was just done.
That was for closed, this is for open.
That's okay, then we'll ask the same question for open session. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof. Virgil Macy is declaring,
Yes,
and Councilor Rosehart is declaring.
so I, Deborah Lazy, declare pecuniary interest in regards to agenda item 14.2.1 of the open session. Due to a conflict of interest, due to my husband having ownership shares in the building and the existing downtown core.
Thank you. Councilor Rosehart?
And I have the same pecuniary interest as my son owns business in the downtown core.
Thank you. Thank you. Duly noted, the meeting is back in the arms of the chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we move to adoption of council minutes from previous meeting. Ms. Parker,
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Rosehart, the minutes of the council meeting of August 11th, 2025 be approved.
any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Carried. Next, we have some information items. Councilor Rosehart.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Spencer, that the council receive the items 1-2-1 and 1-2-2 as information. Thank you.
Council have any questions regarding, yes? Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, your worship. Just for clarification, and we see in this report, an expenditure for sole source of $150,000, $605. Is there clarification as to what portion of that is levied upon the town of Tillsonburg, or is that just form part of our county levy? And the second part of that question is there cost to the taxpayers of the town of Tillsonburg as users of this potential system, the boxes and things of that nature?
So this is for the green bins.
Yeah.
So each household will be supplied with a green bin that they can take to the road. They'll also be supplied with a small green bin that will be able to have in your house. The 150,000 is coming out of the landfill and waste diversion reserve. So there is nothing on the levy with regards to this, and these aren't actually for Tillsonburg at all. This is for Woodstock and Squats, who will see the implementation of the program on January 1st. The town of Tillsonburg will not be seeing the implementation until spring of 2027.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next, we move to departmental results, and I will turn it over to our Director of Finance, if you would like to highlight anything for council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to council. The overall variance reports as of the end of June of this year show that so far we're in a favorable variance of about 581,000. That includes, of course, all departments, which is also building, which at the end of the year, as council is aware, in the building that is self-sufficient operation, and so currently it is seeing a deficit in that area, that functional area, which would be funded from the building reserve. So in years where there's a surplus, that surplus in building reserve, in years where there's a deficit, it's covered, so it is nullified against the overall town-wide levy, and therefore, after doing so, about $127,000 deficit currently is at Q2. The year-end surplus will be about $670,000 as of mid-year. Part of that, of course, of that surplus, if that is generated by any labor variances that would continue beyond June, then that would increase. And so it's not necessarily an indication, depending on what transpires between what would have transpired between June and the end of December. That would be the forecast. Currently would be at least that potentially a bit higher amount.
Thank you. So regarding the consolidated results, do any council members have any questions from the Director of Finance? Councilor Spencer.
Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barris, The report titled FIN 25-0302 2025 consolidated Q2 operating results be received as information. And if I could just make a comment. I always find myself very appreciative for all the work being done into these reports. I think they're understandable and helpful for not just council, but the public if they wish to review them. Some areas of deficit, most favorable. I think that's great. I'd like to see the completion and the plan to completion. One comment I want to share with operations is I have received a lot of positive comments about the bus shelters. Other than the one that stated somebody was changing in there. But everybody else thinks the look is sleek. They like that it's see-through, that it's not plastered. You could see who's in there, plastered with advertising. And so I just wanted to share that and thank all the senior leadership for doing these reports. They're very helpful. Thank you.
Any further comments from council? All those in favor? Carried. Next, we move to the departmental results. Does staff have anything that you want to highlight? I can go around with each department. Anything? Everyone's shaking their head. Okay, so I'll open the floor and the council to ask questions, and you can direct them to the appropriate staff because we now have all the departments on the table. Councilor Parsons.
Yes, your worship, thank you. A question to the director of operations. On page 76 of our council agenda, the waste management page. Can you just tell me what garbage lifts are at the, there's a notice at the bottom, garbage lifts were over by $8,500. Where does those refer to? On page 76 of the council agenda.
The mayor, I'm looking at the report right now. And it looks like there was more needed tickets or tax and were required for people to buy. That's my understanding from what is, sorry, garbage leaks over. No, I don't have the answer to that question.
No, because, thank you. I should have reached out to you before this, but the county of Oxford, if I may, your worship, deals with waste management, and this is a Tillsonburg specific item, and I just, maybe I can find out in the future what that refers to, garbage lifts.
So what I can do is find out the answer to that question and report back to council.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't believe that the county picks up the garbage downtown. So might be, I think, look into that, but I think that's what it could be. Any further questions to any departments? Seeing none, Deputy Mayor.
For resolution, I guess, for all of them, for the departmental results from finance was moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Parsons, that the 2025 second quarter department results be received for information.
Any comments from council? I would like to make one. We're seeing a very large amount of industrial growth. It was over 50 million to the end of Q2. And according to the report, housing though is housing starts are much slower than we've seen in the past, but the industrial growth is big. And if there's no other comments, all those in favor? Carried. Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So in front of council is a staff report regarding the rural Ontario Development Program application. The town is proposing that we seek $60,000, $30,000 from the province, $30,000 from the town towards Tillsonburg healthcare recruitment strategy. This will be an excellent project for our new administration commission. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Any questions regarding the application? Councilor Parsons?
Thank you, your worship. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Luciani, that report CAO 25-012 federal rural Ontario Development Program application be received as information, and B, the council support the town's application to the Rural Ontario Development Program for $60,000 for the Tillsonburg Healthcare Recruitment Strategy Project. And C, that council recommend to the mayor that the town's 50% portion of $30,000 funding be included in the 2026 budget under special projects, Office of the CAO, to be funded from the Physician Recruitment Reserve. Thank you.
Any further comments from council? Councilor Spencer?
I just really appreciated this report. I think it's a smart strategy. We've been attempting physician recruitment with some or minimal success, and I think a new approach seems smart for seeking more positive solutions. So thank you.
Any further comments? I've already indicated to the CEO to put whatever is required in the budget for this, so. If there's no further comments, all those in favor? Carried. And I will turn the chair over to you, Deputy Mayor.
We had a proposed resolution, but it appears that this is regarding the proposed downtown Tillsonburg BIA boundary expansion, which was on a previous agenda. Councilor Parsons, I believe, would like to introduce a motion to that effect. Councilor
Thank you,
Parsons.
Deputy Mayor. Yes, it's moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Luciani. The council refer report CS 25-025 to the BIA Board of Management and the Economic Development Advisory Committee for comment. If I can speak to that.
Certainly.
Yes, Deputy Mayor, I think given the comments, the presentation, first of all, by the BIA at the August 11th meeting, comments from other stakeholders and the presentation that evening, and just getting the full report at this point from the Corporate Services Department, it would be wise for us to seek the input of these two bodies in particular, and give some time to make sure we get this right. So that's the reason for this alternate resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions or comments to the mover? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you. That's complete there. The chair is back, at least the meeting's back in your chair.
Thank you.
(14.3).
Next, we move to, yes, I'll just turn it over to you for portions of the Moose Street right away.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This report is to sell finally two portions of the Moose Street right away west of Broadway to buyers, to the adjacent property owners. This has gone through the surplus lands process. There's been a fair bit of, I guess, work done in terms of making sure that the property is right for the property owners that's next to. And now we're bringing forward these two agreements for final approval by council. So the proceeds from this would, just to be noted, would go into the town hall reserve. And of course, the buyers are responsible for the town's costs related to this transaction. Thank you.
I will open the floor up to council for any questions. Seeing Councilor Brown.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Rosehart. The report EDM 25-025 offers to purchase portions of the Moose Street right of way be received, and the bylaws be brought forward authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into agreements of purchase and sale and to execute any documents required to effect the transfer of the portions of Moose Street right of way as follows. 2117975 Ontario Inc. for the lands described as parts of Block A, Plan 518, and more specifically parts 1 and 3 on Plan 41R 10857, and 2568489 Ontario Inc. for the lands described as part of Block A, Plan 518, and more specifically parts 2 and 4 on Plan 41R 10857. that bylaws be brought forward authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into agreements of purchase and sale and to execute any documents required to effect the transfer of portions of Moose Street right of way as follows. Save and except for easements registered in favor of Oxford County on parts 3 and 4, Plan 41R 10857, and that the purchasers be responsible for the town's valuation, survey, legal costs, and commissions payable in addition to the purchase price of $15,000 per parcel, and that the net proceeds from the sale be transferred into the town hall reserve.
Any comments from council? All those in favor? Carried. Next, we move to the community improvement plan for Innovation Way and Wise Tools. Cephas?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So again, this is a community improvement plan application in support of Wiseline Tools and their proposed acquisition of the first 5 acres in phase 2 of the Van Orn Innovation Park. So they're planning to do investment there, as council is aware. They have applied for this community improvement plan rebate, and staff are recommending it at the general level of the program, which is not the highest level of the program. And in part due to the fact that there is actually some site work required in and over and above the normal site. There's foundations that are left on the property, et cetera, from the previous agricultural use. So in addition to supporting the investment, there's actually additional costs for them to develop this site. So it seemed appropriate to support this investment this way. So staff are recommending, I'm recommending that the council do approve this application in this amount.
Any questions for Cephas? Seeing none, Councilor Parsons?
Thank you, Worship. It's moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bears. A, the council receives report titled EDM 25-026 Community Improvement Plan Application for Innovation Way property, commonly occupied in the future by Wiseline Tools Incorporated. And B, that the Innovation Way property be approved for the tax increment grant back program of Community Improvement Plan related to enhancements of the property at the general level, which offers the following growth-related rebates. Years 1, 100% rebate of incremental tax increase. Year 2, 80% rebate. Year 3, 60% rebate. Year 4, 40% rebate. Year 5, 20% rebate with full property taxes being payable in year 6. If I can just speak to the resolution.
Go ahead.
Just to note here, and you know, this company is been successful. It's going to be growing in Tillsonburg, and that this construction of this new building in phase 1, a building 33,750 square feet, and to provide 20 to 30 full-time positions related to warehouse staff, repair technicians, retail associates, and administrative roles. And in the second phase, another 5 to 10 jobs there. So I think that is good for Tillsonburg, and I congratulate that company and pleased to support this resolution. Thank you.
Any further comments from council? All those in favor? Carried. Next, we move to the paper billing contest results. I see we have 325 new paperless billing enrollments, which is great. Is there anything you wanted to add to the report or highlight for council?
Just to you, Madam Mayor, that we are grateful, obviously, to all those that have signed up. It is encouraging to see that citizens do want to move towards digital services. And we do have contests. It was part of a contest, which I believe you have the draw that we would like to proceed, Madam Mayor, with you selecting the winner. So thanks again to staff involved and to all citizens. Thank you.
Through you, Chair, to Director of Finance, is there going to be another contest?
For you, Madam Mayor, yes, we've had conversations around utilizing these tools to be able to encourage adoption of electronic means of impacting business of the town. We've just on that, obviously receiving a bill through by email, obviously is a first step. We would actually want to look at and prefer to actually look at pre-authorized payments. where the funds are withdrawn directly out of the accounts. That would automatically mean electronic invoicing, and so, or receiving the tax bill. So that would actually be even more a greater benefit to do the full transaction electronically. So yes, we will look to these type of events, if you will, in the future to raise the adoption and the efficiency of the program.
Further questions from council? Seeing none, I will have Councillor Rose start with the resolution on the floor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Spencer, that the report FIN 25-028 titled Paper Spelling Contest Results be received as information. Thank you.
Before I call the vote, we're going to draw the lucky winner of the event. And just so citizens are aware, 325 new enrollments is $975 in savings, mostly postal related. Okay, let's see who the winner is. Well, it's not like deeply heavy. Like, I thought they were like little tickets, they're not. I think this is a very familiar name, Walter Clear. Congratulations, Walter. You won an iPad. Now we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Next, we move over to a pedestrian crossover rectangular rapid flashing beacon installation, and I will turn it over to our Director of Operations. If you would like to highlight anything from this report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No additional highlights, but I'm here to answer any questions from the report.
Does council have any questions? I have a question. So this is going to be at the Broadway at the trail, correct? Is this one that trans trail? And so this will be the first test of this, and they're gonna be blinking lights like overhead the road so people can see them from a farther distance.
Yes, that is correct, and that's also a result of our inquiry from a few residents. Actually noted that there is a municipality nearby that is using the same approach. We contacted the county. They were also part of the installation for that in that town. And then we requested more information. This is where we have here. We're using some quotes, some information, what is required to complete the installation here in town.
Okay, and so the one at Glendale, so we have two on Broadway. The one at Glendale is not being proposed yet at this time. That may be in the future after we kind of like test the waters on this.
That is correct.
Great, thank you. Any further council partner?
Just through you, Mayor Govizza, to Director Reyes, just confirming that the lights are still going to be the yellow color and they're not going to be red or white, correct?
Good question. Best of my knowledge, it's gonna be yellow as we can see in the picture.
Thank you. Good question.
Good.
Commissioner?
Just for clarity, and I don't want to, through you, I don't want to put you on the spot. You're not a police officer. And you don't hand out tickets, but from what I understand, when the lights are completely stopped flashing, motorists can proceed. Even though the intersection may be clear, somebody runs across, if they're still flashing, we still have to stop, do we? Until the lights stop. Do you know that answer?
To the mayor, well, the purpose of the lights is to provide pedestrians with safe passage. So we recommend all the vehicles that stop until the lights are fully
Stop.
so they can continue after, just to allow any pedestrian to push the button to cross safely.
Yeah, sometimes people are a little slower and sometimes they scoot across the hurry. Wait till the lights are stopped, flash.
The people are all,
Thank you.
the people are down.
Yeah, the people are good.
I believe with those crossings, the people have to completely be off the road.
Right.
Great, I see Councilor Luciani nodding, but those are the, people get them mixed up with like the regular crosswalks downtown, but on these crosswalks, the pedestrian has to be completely up on the sidewalk before a vehicle can continue through. If that's helpful.
That's clear. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Luciani?
just to follow up on that, yeah, and you can go through and the lights are still flashing as long as the pedestrians are off the road.
Oh,
And I just want to just say a simple a shout out to Darwin Kent, who actually has been very let's say it's the best word. He's been very focused and deliberate on trying to get this resolved. And he has brought this to our attention, and just a shout out to Darwin and a thank you for doing that.
Yes, that's a great point, because he has been very consistent with, you know, having us look into this. But I guess the general population should know that the type of PXO isn't chosen by the town, but it's criteria through the MTO, correct? Is that correct?
That is correct, and also to mention that these additional lights, they're not a standard. The standard design or detail doesn't include the one on top. But because there is a municipality already using it, and we see that there is value for increased awareness and also protection to pedestrians, and so we're making this request today.
Thank you. Deputy, are there any further questions? Deputy Mayor.
I'll read the resolution. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Parsons, that the report OPD 25-041 titled Pedestrian Crossover Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacon Installation be received as information. And part B, that the staff be directed to proceed with the installation of the rectangular rapid flashing beacon installation at the PXO location at Broadway Street and the Trans-Canada Trail. And C, that the cost of the installation of $12,000 plus the harmonized sales tax be funded from the approved 2025 Public Works Traffic Signals Subcon operating budget.
Any further comments from council? Sorry, when's the timeline of this? Timeline for the public?
We're hoping to finalize the installation within 3 months, so by the end of the year.
Perfect. Any further comments? All those in favor? That is carried. Investigative results, three-way stop and traffic calming. So, Director of Operations, this was a comprehensive report. And then there was another report from Paradigm, the consultant. I'll turn it over to you. Do you have anything that you'd like to highlight?
Thank you. Following the direction from council in a previous meeting, where we retained the services of Paradigm, they're the consultant working in the transportation master plan. They have a lot of experience with this type of request in our municipalities, and they provided a quote, which we agreed to retain it to be able to provide this report back to you with the recommendation for Paradigm. So if you had to answer any question regarding the report, the recommendations.
Does council have questions regarding the report? Councilor Spencer.
I'm gonna read a alternative motion. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Luciani, that report OPD 25042 titled Investigation Results. Resolution 2025-122 three-way stop and traffic calming be received as information. And whereas the Hickory Hills community reports feeling unsafe with drivers on Wilson, especially where they have witnessed many people not slowing down and speeding. Whereas community members of Hickory Hills have encountered dangerous pedestrian street crossings or slow walking senior crossing situations, and the encounters of vehicle at high speeds. And whereas Hickory Hills community feels much improved safety with the implemented temporary three-way stop at Wilson and Baldwin. Be it that council directs staff to provide a report on a soft speed bump that is removable in the winter on Wilson Street on the north end of Jackson Court, and that the temporary three-way stop at Wilson and Baldwin be permanent. And if I could comment.
Yes.
Well, the average speed on Wilson is indicated in the report, which was quite comprehensive report, was around or below the 40 kilometers per hour, which is posted there. Many of this community feel that they all drive the proper speed or less. But the concern lies with those that don't live in Hickory Hills that are using Wilson as a through passing. to get to one side or the other, a shortcut, if you will. Those speeds are fewer in numbers, but are reported in the study at speeds of 60, 70, and almost 80 kilometers per hour. This is very frightening for this community and felt to be very unsafe, and I agree. I don't think we wait until a senior citizen has a tragedy when there's simple solutions to slow things down. I've heard the hard speed bumps are unfavorable and can damage snow plows, but I have read about the soft ones that are removable in the winter for snow plowing and that they are also effective.
Questions from council? I do have a question. You're restricting it to speed bumps, so there, some of the discussion in the past regarding speed bumps hasn't been snow plows, it has been emergency vehicles. So ambulances or, fire. One of the other, like another traffic calming measure is like a narrowing of a road with putting an island in. I was wondering if you would be maybe, or consider that, we might leave maybe some options open
So,
and not just restricting it to a speed bump.
sure, like you mean the ones in the middle of the road that kind of go, what's that?
No, there's all kinds of different traffic calming measures, so you can, like, you can bump out your, the sides to narrow the road, because like when you narrow the road, it makes people slow down, or you can put a concrete island in the middle to slow people down to narrow the road. Like there's, other forms of traffic calming measures that might work as well.
Yeah, for sure, I'd be willing
Councillor
to
Price.
add or other traffic calming measures at that location.
Those are parcels.
Your worship, aware of the calming mechanism you referred to. I've also spoken at the traffic committee, as a member of the traffic committee, of other things I've actually observed in other municipalities. Speed humps, not bumps, speed humps that are more gradual, and I've actually observed ambulances going with lights and sirens and followed by a fire truck. It doesn't seem to slow them down, hardly at all, but it does calm the traffic. So I think there are other mechanisms. I'm just wondering if there should be further consideration for this alternate motion at the traffic committee, if there should be some further consideration for what the traffic calming could look like and the alternatives, and bring that back to council. Perhaps a resolution can go through in its original recommendation, and that traffic calming be added as a direction of the traffic committee were to consider this further and bring a report back.
I'm totally game to do that, Councillor Parsons. The complaints I've received is that it's gone to the traffic committee and not much has happened.
Well, it's true. As things have happened though. I mean, we put a new sign there, for the speed control, right? It used to just, wasn't working very good. Now we've got a more updated one that I think it shows the speed that the vehicle is going now, but, it's improved from what it was.
Would it be, through the chair, would it be, amicable to or other traffic measures, humps or bumps or other traffic calming measures, to get that report from staff and that this be sent to the traffic committee as well? Or you're thinking it should go right just
I
to?
think that would work. I would support that.
The other question I would have is just seek clarification, but the temporary stop that's on Baldwin and Wilson, we had a report at last council, did it not indicate that there would be a report coming back or something by the end of the year regarding that stop sign?
Yes, that is correct. Our plan was to report at the end of the project, report back to council with any findings and asking council for direction whether for the stop to be permanent or to remove it.
Okay. Thanks. Any further questions? Councilor Rosehart?
Through you, I agree with Mr. Parsons that I think it should go to traffic before we have staff to do a report on it, because we're asking staff first to do a report. And then if it comes to traffic, is that my understanding in the resolution?
It would be all.
I think the intent correct me if I'm wrong, but staff would do the report and it would come to the traffic committee for comment or review and from this plan, so to be. Is that the intent, Counselor?
Like with the numbers and options.
Further questions or comments? And, would clerk, could you just read the, line? Did you get the amendment? Or the friendly, she got it, okay, clerk, that's it. Okay, any further questions or comments, all those in favor? Carried. Traffic, bylaw amendment, new stopping, and it's 14.6.3. Do you have anything to add to the report or highlight?
No, so the author, the report's not here today, but I'm here to answer any questions to the best of my knowledge. There is a public consultation that took place. The report included all the questions that were received, residents in favor and against the approach. But I'm here to answer any questions.
Council have any questions regarding the new bylaw for Portertown Road? Councilor Spencer?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. The report states these issues are especially pronounced at entrances of 360 and 361 Portertown line, as well as the intersection of Langrel Avenue. That was a quote. Also, quote, overflow parking in new development is an issue, stating a resident noting that existing parking is already insufficient with the 360 Portertown line development, and suggested a small lot be created to accommodate overflow parking. One complaint stated residents from one address submitted a letter opposing the proposed changes, described them as punitive for those who rely on Portertown line. They noted that the parking issue is localized to 360 development. So my questions are, do we know why there's such overflow, and can we confirm that this development has sufficient parking available from a planning perspective?
To the mayor. So to answer the first question, no, we don't know where the help was coming from. There is some, there's development happening in the area, so we assume that development is contributing to this, for this to happen. But we cannot guarantee 100% where they are coming from. And the second question, so my understanding is that application went through the planning process, including the presentation to council. At the time, there was a criteria evaluation, and council approved the approach at the time. So I'm assuming that based on the presentation that there was supposed to be accurate parking for the proposal at the time.
But that's not confirmed that there is.
Well, based on the mayor, so based on what they proposed and was presented from council, was confirmed that that's sufficient parking.
Okay, and if I could, through you, Mayor, is the one resident forementioned asking that the developer or the development make a small lot, or are they asking the town? I was confused.
To the mayor, so that is the question that was submitted. There was no clarification whether the town or the developer was just asking what was possible for us for not to create it. And I guess the response from the town was that we're going to include that as part of the report, which we did. But there was no more clarification on or what that report was about.
Okay, and one final question through the chair. The developer and an anonymous voicemail are opposed to the bylaw change. Is there an agreement with the developer that specifically states there will be allotted street parking for the development, or is that even a thing?
To the mayor, to the best of my knowledge, there is no a special agreement for this development. Now, typically a developer considers what is surrounding the development. So I'm assuming that they consider street parking part of the design. But yeah, there's no guarantee that there was going to be there forever. The town is in the right of way, so the town has the authority to change that at any time.
Sorry, I do have one more question for you, Chair. So it's just that area that is being the bylaw, so there'll still be areas slightly off down the road from it where the people can park on the road.
For the mayor. That is correct. The map that is included in the report highlights where the restriction is going to be. There's still more on-street parking as well, local roads. That's what I'm doing as well.
Thank you.
Councilor Carson.
Just, further to Councilor Spencer's comments for your worship, we did discuss this at length at the traffic committee. And I know it can be a sensitive issue. There's been lots of infill in this area with the new townhouses there. And I've looked at that development and, every one of those townhouses has parking for two vehicles. They're parking on their driveway and parking in their garage. Now, maybe some people aren't using the garage to put their car, perhaps. I don't know why there's so many cars, but it clearly is a safety issue. There's children that cross the school. There's buses, parents dropping off children. The whole west side of that street, other than a very limited amount, is available for cars to park over there. But the sight lines are really of serious concern for safety hazards. So I do support the resolution. I know it can be difficult for people to work out their parking, but each of these homes has two spots in their home, from what I see, and maybe not being used. Those are my comments, and I know those may not be appreciated by everybody. That's what it is.
I mean, in the winter, there's no on-street parking, right, in the evening, so I don't know where the cars go, but Councilor Spencer.
Thank you. I just wanted a clarification, either through the traffic committee members or staff. I'm not familiar with this development. Is it like apartments or townhouses or houses?
Don't know.
Townhouses. Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Sorry, questions from council? Okay, seeing none, Councilor Lucien.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Parker. That report OPD 25-044 titled Traffic Bylaw Amendment, No Stopping, Quarter Town Line be received as information, and that a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-029 being a bylaw to regulate traffic and the parking of motor vehicles in the town of Tillsonburg be implemented to restrict parking on a designated portion of Quarter Town Line be presented to council for consideration.
Further comments from council? All those in favor? Carried. Need a bylaw. Do you have anything to add to the report?
No additional comments. Any questions?
Any questions from council? This is just kind of a housekeeping item. Council Parker.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Rosehart, the report OPD 25-045 titled Three-Way Stop at Intersection of Baldwin Street and Wilson Ave Traffic Bylaw Amendments be received as information. The council directs staff to present bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-029 being a bylaw to regulate traffic and the parking of motor vehicles in the town of Tillsonburg to formally include a three-way stop at the intersection of Baldwin Street and Wilson Ave.
Any comments from council? All those in favor? That is carried. We move to consideration of minutes. Councilor Rosehart.
Hughes, moved by myself, second by Councilor Spencer, that council receive the following advisory committee minutes as information. Oxford OPP Detachment Board, June 18, 2025. Economic Development Committee, August 12, 2025. Founder's Day Subcommittee, August 19, 2025, and September 2nd, 2025. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from council? All those in favor? Carried. Motion, Councilor Lucien.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Parsons. The council select the Greenfield site, northeast corner of Brock and Harvey Streets, as a location for the development of a new town hall. And the council directs staff to proceed with all necessary next steps to advance the project, including but not limited to site remediation, hydro relocation, and detailed design and construction of the new town hall. That council confirmed the construction budget will be adjusted for inflation using the Statistics Canada Building Construction Price Index for London. if I may speak to that.
Go ahead.
First, I'd like to request a recording vote. So first, thanks to the management team and all town employees for their patience as town council continues to explore all opportunities to advance the best solution for a town hall. My thanks also for the enormous amount of time, effort, and well-written reports getting to council to this point. This has been a very long process, and this has had multiple terms in a lot of directions. On April 13th, 2015, council of the day endorsed moving forward with the town hall steering committee to provide guidance to the council in considering a new town hall. The results of this steering committee for design, build, and lease back options were presented to the next council and not supported. The town hall steering committee was then reconstituted and tasked with finding the best long-term solution over a 30-year period, including continuing at the mall location, using 10 Lisgar Ave, or vacant land at Brock and Harvey. The recommendation of that steering committee for the Brock and Harvey location was not endorsed by our current council. We later decided on using the location of the current customer service center at 10 Lisgar Ave. I supported 10 Lisgar Ave, but also supported a tear down and a complete rebuild after it was found to save over $1 million by going in that direction. Saying that, I still do not believe that 10 Lisgar is a better choice over a new build at Brock and Harvey. The last council report received, CAO 25-002, indicated a new build at Brock and Harvey to be the best choice with the lowest cost while meeting all current standards and having better efficiencies ongoing. This was in comparison to 10 Lisgar and the commercial site on Concession Street, which at this time I think is no longer viable. The last direction council provided was a rebuild of 10 Lisgar. I don't believe this should happen. So far, Harvey and Brock has been the choice of the two town hall steering committees, as well as this most recent report. I get that committees and reports are sources of information to assist council in making complicated decisions, and we don't necessarily need to follow the recommendations. I do wonder why we don't, though, considering the thousands of hours of staff, volunteer, and outside professionals' time spent to provide them. Harvey and Brock is currently the best available option. The location provides visibility, easy accessibility, and an investment in the downtown core. Is it perfect? No. We have hydro relocation concerns and, similar to 10 Lisgar, soil remediation needs. These issues have been known and are not new. Time is money. Cost to build would have been less at any past point, but future costs are only going to get higher the longer we wait. Keep in mind that this has been ongoing for over 10 years now. Just for perspective, Stephen Harper was Prime Minister then and Obama was the US President. Our lack of a laser-focused, clear decision has dampened employee morale, allowed costs to continue to escalate, and importantly, not provided the efficiencies that were envisioned in the initial conception of our new town hall space. 3 councils to date have been part of this process, and we are still renting and even more spread out. After 10 years, settling for anything less than the best long-term solution makes no sense. I don't think we need another report. I'm asking for council support in moving this motion and providing clear direction to staff. A yes vote to this motion allows moving forward with the most logical choice and one that has been proposed to us multiple times. It allows us to recoup the investments previously made to 10 Lisgar through a potential future sale that would help offset some of the Brock and Harvey building costs. It would allow us to temporarily use 10 Lisgar to both alleviate existing additional rental costs and unite employees under one roof. It will support a new town hall that meets the present and future needs of Tillsonburg and is the lowest cost option. I request your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members from council that have comments? Council Parker?
Through you, Mayor Gilbazzi, I won't be supporting this resolution. While I appreciate the work that has went into it and the comments made by Councillor Luciani, I have major concerns about the site remediation that's needed in that area, and not knowing the cost of that. I can't support that because there could be millions of dollars of costs for remediation in that area. I think that the customer service center is a great place to do it. We've already done some construction, or we've already done a rebuild on the facade on the outside. I also believe that we had heard other options and other ideas about that area earlier tonight. And I think that that is where we should go, or at least we should be waiting for a report back in November. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Spencer?
Yeah, I have a question, for staff in relation to the Grayfield site. In the past design, when I was looking through things, I'm not sure who wants to take this. In that site, there was included a public square. And I saw a picture of it, and I thought it was a good idea. Is that something that would be included in this design now or down the road? And is there any idea of what that would cost for like an addition? If it's not included, would it just be like concrete landscaping?
Through the mayor to Councillor Spencer, one of the earlier iterations did provide a larger public square where the town hall building was set further back from the streetscape. That was quite a while ago, so I think that would have to be revisited entirely. My understanding of where the building would best go right now, if we were talking about the yellow land, would actually be closer in proximity to Brock Street, which would leave limited space for a large square in front, perhaps some square, but not a large square.
And just further comments through the chair. I think we all know we need one building for our directors and senior staff in the municipality. I think we all know it's a necessity. We know through steering committees, with public consultation in the last term of council, that the results of this consultation was to be on town-owned land in downtown, which would be either of those locations. We know that discussions started for a new town hall in 2015. There's been dozens of staff reports, architectural designs developed, change in designs, change in location, new designs, consultation, staff time, committee time, which includes staff. And this has cost the taxpayers, like, I can't even imagine how much, hundreds of thousands, a million, I'm not sure, for nothing. Like, we haven't got any further. It's been 10 years. We're still unable to decide. And as, you know, as we look at this and keep putting it off or keep looking at other options, and then we look at another option, this is going to get pushed maybe to the next term. And so for some that are here, it'd be their third or fourth term of council with no decision. We know if we push this off, prices will only go up. Again, this council won't be paying for it, the taxpayers will. On this term of council, we have considered several options. We were given a new report not long ago on the 3 locations. One is not own land, an older building we don't own. I also think that we had a steering committee that did public consultation, and going against that seems like, what was the point of the steering committee and public consultation? In the 3 options, 2 were $2 to $3.5 million over the Grayfield site. The Grayfield site, which is town land and a new building, for at a high estimate, 9 million, for a low scale estimate, 5.1 million. The Grayfield site is the lowest number we've seen, which is good for taxpayers. It's downtown and on land. This is what taxpayers asked for with public consultation. A new building that will save us from cost down the road. I don't imagine any added costs, but minor in the first 10 years. The longevity of it will be decades, and an older building will have to have updates. It is the only one of the 3 options that rates high in active carbon neutral goals and enhanced natural lighting. Us not deciding on this over the last 3 years has cost, it's cost the constituents more and more. And I've heard reasons for not voting for things at this point, election results, we don't like that option. And I think that's avoiding, and I think as leaders, we need to make difficult decision and what is the most cost effective for our tax base and community. I do share the concern about environmental. I'm not sure if there can be something added into this where we get to look at this closer just to see how much the cost would be for moving forward. It might help resolve some fears of, like Councillor Parker said, you know, I think it was estimated at a higher approximate estimate of a couple $100,000 for the soil remediation. But I think putting fears, as Councillor Parker mentioned, that it could be millions to rest would be helpful before deciding. So I'm wondering if that could be somehow included as a friendly amendment.
I suppose it can, but I do know that we also have had boreholes drilled, and we do have an idea of what that site does entail. Possibly, Stephen Spanchuk can chime in on that. I'm not too sure if he's got more information.
I'm digging through my notes. Might be a few minutes.
You still speaking?
I've got the floor, I've got a question on the floor from Councillor Missy. Do you require a little bit of time to say this? Go ahead.
I was just going to add that I have a pretty good memory and that I recall, and maybe this is not correct, but 5 boreholes and only one showed low amounts of contamination.
Any other councillors have any comments on, we can give, we'll see if this is searching for information, Deputy Mayor?
If I could speak to this, my concern from a overall point of view is debt capacity. If I remember looking, I'm not sure where our debt capacity is right now. I do know last fall where it was when we saw our budget. Is in the event that we need to expand our industrial growth, buy more lands, recreation is you know, the Big Swing project is something that's sitting right now. We've asked our economic development officer to come up with some capital to offset 50% the cost of a new build. Although what Councillor Luciani here is saying, he's asking that the resolution does not have a time frame on it. And I've noted that, but I think he just wants to lock down the location. I believe that's the intent of this resolution. I'm not sure at this time, and I am sure about what not supporting it at this time, as far as I'm concerned. And the reason for that is debt capacity. I don't want to get into something like that until we know that we have the necessaries to do it. There's a possibility that with some staff working at home, do we need the space? We're looking at the alternate of 10 Lisgar Ave right now, and 10 Lisgar Ave is partially vacant. It could take some cost to modify it to include a council chamber temporarily and some offices temporarily to do this, and it would only enhance the cost of that building in the event that in future years, 2 years, 3 years down the road, the Greenfield site might be a better one to do that. In the meantime, we could vacate. And remembering too that we were paying a significant amount of rent at the former location, and some of those reserves have been put away. I believe right now, temporarily, until we know what's going on with industrial lands and with our debt capacity, that we do not take off that big chunk, and we support the local 10 Lisgar Ave with a moderate fee to reconstruct it to suit the needs of the community for the next year or two, and then see what happens after that time.
Thank you, Deputy Stevens.
Yes, thanks for council's indulgence, working with, Laura, we were able to quickly find some numbers, I think, so, from about, November of 2022, when we estimated, we had an estimate, from just prior to that, that the cost was around $244,000 to remediate. So those numbers are approximately 3 years old now, but that does give council a range of what the cost to do that might be. Of course, that is an estimate, it's subject to changes as you get into it, but that's certainly the best data we have at this time. To note, Councillor does have a good memory. There was one borehole, but we both may have forgotten about the 2 monitoring wells that actually had a bit of contamination as well. So there's actually 3 total. Boreholes are soil contamination, and the monitoring wells are water. Just to clarify that. So thank you.
Thank you. Final comments, Councillor Parsons?
Thank you. Just to say, through your worship, I appreciate all the comments. Passion in this discussion. I do support entirely the comments of Councillor Luciani, who has opined the history of this very well, and where we are today, the time it's taken. My greatest concern, I think, for using 10 Lisgar Ave, and refitting that building and the work that will have to be done there and the expenditures, it's not something that I think is necessarily going to fit or be substantive enough to fit for the needs of this town 20 or 25 years from now. We need to build a town hall or make a town hall, fabricate a town hall that's going to take us 50, 75, and possibly more years down the road. And in terms of the amortization of cost, I remember going through this discussion back when we built the police building. You know, it's there for a lot of years, and you know, future taxpayers have to share the costs of that, right? So I'm left to, my resolve is to support Councillor Luciani's resolution. I think it is the best. Thank you.
Yeah, let's move for final comments. Councillor Roser?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My thoughts, and a lot of thoughts on the floor. We've looked at this for a long time. I think that customer service center is still our best solution. It's there. We can accommodate inside. We can do anything with it we want. We can make it work. The Grayfield site I'm worried about because of contamination. We really don't know what's in that ground. And is that building that we're building going to hold all the people? Or are we going to have a lot of people work from home? I'd rather see people all come to work and all be in one location. And my next one is, if we can't resolve it, then maybe we should open it up to the taxpayers on the next ballots and let them make the decision. It's not my tax dollar, it's their tax dollar. They're the ones that are going to pay for this. With the economy the way it is, and the way things are out there right now, we don't know which way it's going to go. And I think we have to really let them make that decision. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Spencer?
Yeah, I just have like a comment and question about 10 Lisgar, like, so like by the summary we were given, it is $3.6 million more. Yes. The downsizing of it, I don't know, we don't have numbers for that to know. But we've already been told there's insufficient parking there as well. Will 10 Lisgar need a full development? Or are we just cramming people into the little area we have and making a makeshift council chamber? In which case, to Councillor Rosehart's thoughts on staff coming back, if that's a thing, where would they go? Because there's many offices that are shared. And this sounds like a smaller area if we're not doing a full renovation. Yeah, like I'm in favor of the Grayfield site, but I feel that there are those two questions unanswered. How much will it cost for the environmental, the soil remediation? And numbers on 10 Lisker, if we're scanning it down or scanning it down. And if we're scanning it down, is it for a temporary location or is that the new location?
That would be up to council to determine. I can't answer that question, whether it be temporary or permanent. In the way that I voted in the past, I voted for something permanent, so it would be totally up to council, whatever direction they chose. Councilor Kirk.
Through you, Mayor Galvezi, to the Economic Development Commissioner. With the Grayfield site, if it were to be built there, would we have to replace parking for the current land lease that is there with the mall?
Through the mayor, Councilor Parker, as long as we remain within the yellow lands are referenced, we do not, as long as we do not cause a loss in parking spaces beyond what's required by the bylaw.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Councilor Luciani.
Just a couple of quick comments, I guess. Dealing with taxpayers' dollars. I mean, we could have really dealt with taxpayers' dollars by biting into this project at any point in the past, and we'd have been far, far ahead. And if we wait and keep waiting, we are truly spending taxpayers' dollars. Because you can't tell me that something is gonna be cheaper 2 years from now. It's not. Secondly, dealing with the Grayfield site, this would be a building that's built for the efficiencies and the requirements for the town and what's required to be the most effective for what they require. It's not gonna be piecemealed in. In fact, the proposal was built on the larger side to accommodate all of the workers, in spite of the fact that we are still using a hybrid system of work. So I know that it's smaller than the 10 Lisgar site, but I also know that in the long run, it will be easier to, number one, lay out, and number two, it's gonna be something that you're not gonna be dealing with any deficiencies over a longer term than you would on 10 Lisgar. And 10 Lisgar still needed soil remediation. So we talk both ways. Both need soil remediation. One didn't have needs soil remediation to, I believe, to house what was proposed at 10 Lisgar. So there was still issues, and there was an issue with the sewer on one end. So that was still an issue on 10 Lisgar. I'm still 100% convinced that the right decision here is going to grab the Grayfield site and getting something that can be moved forward. And at this stage, nobody's saying, build it now and debenture something at this stage. Because right now, we could be doing some of the things like hydro relocation. We could be taking a look at some of the pre-planning stuff that's required, and we could be moving this along quicker so that we're in a position when we're all of a sudden do have the money, we can move forward on this. Right now, we're just spinning wheels. And I'm right now, like I said, this is the second council I've been in. This is the third council dealing with it, and I've got a big fear this is gonna be a fourth council dealing with it. Thank you.
Councilor, I just want to see clarification. The one-story renovation at Lister does not require soil mediation. That was only if it was a two-story, correct?
Yes, that's correct. The soils were not strong enough to support the geotechnical report. Weren't strong enough to support a two-story as they were. For renovation, you just use the existing building.
Thank you. Just wanted to see clarification. Okay. Any further comments? This is final. This is the last one. Councilor Thompson.
I just wanted to ask Councilor Luciani. I know we don't want to put this off any longer, but it's only 2 months away that we'll get a report, if that's worthwhile. to defer this till we get that report.
The report we're getting is just enlarge upon what we're expecting in the next report. And can anybody just advise me what in 2 months the next report is?
Through the mayor, so at one juncture, there was a concern that there was no more direction to staff on the hall. And therefore, no more moving on the town hall. And one of the options that we therefore mentioned was, at a minimum, why don't we look at customer service and look at redoing the base section and do a phased approach? So we can try to get many staff under one roof rather than, 3 locations right now. To try to get some quotes, he was unable to, so the CBOs will do quotes and we'll be looking to bring a report back around and do it. That's an option that council wants to.
Again, we're trying to do, we waited 10 years to take anything less than the best possible approach going forward. Makes no sense at this stage. If we move people temporarily into 10 Lisgar, we're gonna be moving people temporarily back out of 10 Lisgar when we start doing further construction. We're gonna be putting good money after bad into that location. And I don't think that that's the right method and the right route to go. I would like to see a vote on this tonight.
Just for clarification. For clarification, there was discussion, and I want to make sure that it's clear that whether it would be temporary or permanent, it would be permanent, that is my understanding, we'd be making the base permanent to move staff in. Not just, making minor reservations and moving about somewhere else at the new town hall. This would be your long-term solution, if that's the solution council wants to go to. Again, that was a solution brought to council, given that there was no movement on the other ones, just to try to get staff out of one building.
The other thing is, we don't know if staff would have to move out of, the 10 lister for one of the base areas being renovated, maybe only part of it, but that would be part of the investigative process, because like the community center still functioned while they were doing the construction of the community center. So it may not necessarily be the case that the environment staff have to move. Councilor Spencer.
I would just like to seek a little more clarification. So the summary here that we have, and I just said it costs 3.6, that's not what we're looking at 10 Lister. We're looking at a 1 level and just doing what we can in there. And it would cost, and it would be permanent. That would be the new municipality office, and it's not temporary. And it won't cost this amount.
The chair. So those 3 options in front of you were for a full town hall that could fit, or aim to fit all staff in there. We don't even know if this solution that's being proposed, that's why we want to get close to Cleveland. It's not a guarantee it's gonna fit all staff. It's just trying to get as many staff under one roof as possible. Because right now, staff were put in a temporary location, and we said, we go to temporary location while we figure out the town hall solution. Some staff are getting upset that they've been in a temporary solution or a temporary location longer than they have, and they would like to, find a permanent location. So the item there was, why don't we do the bare minimum to 10 Lister, such as renovate the Bay Area. So that means all other half staying the same for now, just to get some staff over there. Again, part of the investigation, how many staff can we get over there? Maybe report back only, all 51 can move over there, or not all 55. I don't know the answer to it, so we haven't done the investigation. But the direction was to get as many staff under one roof as possible, cheapest way possible, if you will, if I can use that word, just because there was no movement on any of the other 2 solutions.
Thank you through the chair. I would like to see that report before I decide. Thank you.
Councilor Lucien.
Based on the fact of the unknown, especially due to the fact that, if you get a report back, then we cannot, if 10 Lisgar doing it the revised way cannot fit in all the people that we're supposed to fit in, especially in spite of the fact that we've waited this length of time. And then we're gonna underbuild. I've got a problem with it, but I don't have a problem waiting for a report. We've waited this long to try to get all the information to make the correct decisions going forward. So if it's 2 months for a report, I have no problem waiting.
To be clear, yeah, this is not planning for any future needs. This is just the bare minimum to get as many staff under. So when you say underbuild, we're not building for the future, that's for sure.
Well, that,
We're trying to get as many staff under one roof because there was, again, the alternative right now is we're under 3 different roofs. We're at 51 Brock, 55 Brock, Tillsonburg, and that's not working for staff.
okay, so let me reiterate again. Going down and using Brock and Harvey. It gives some type of direction, future direction to staff, what's happening, and they can see some movement. They don't see any movement. Like I said, we're hitting morale pretty good for town staff. There is no reason with the information that we've received up to now that we can't make a decision. And underbuilding at any point in time is just wrong. If you cannot foresee what the future is and build it for down the road, we are wasting taxpayers' money. And I've got a problem with that. If we look at trying to get people immediately, you reunited under you run one roof. We can do that if we say we're not going to utilize 10 Lisgar. We can move people under one roof. And then you've accomplished that short-term thing in the waiting time. You can put people under one roof, but you don't have to overbuild it. You can just build it so that they're there temporarily, saving the rent. So it would offset that. It would provide us future revenue to be able to sell that and put it towards a new building. If you look at the facts on it, it makes total sense to do the Grayfield site. I'm still down to the point that I think that we should be able to make a decision on this tonight, but if everybody is pretty adamant that we've got a report coming that we need to have, well, like I said, we've waited this long. We've gone down different routes. We've looked at different commercial buildings. We've looked at other locations. We've looked at design, lease, build. I don't want to make a quick decision on this, but I don't figure a Grayfield site that's been recommended by 2 committees so far and by the last CAO's report is making a real quick bad move on this thing. I think it's been recommended to us and we are ignoring some facts that have been put before us, but I rest on that.
As it sits, the motion is on the floor, so I need direction. Either you're going to pull the motion and then bring it back at another time. We wouldn't defer it. No, it makes sense. Withdraw it. Would have to be withdrawn.
Well, if we vote on it tonight and it's voted down, then it's pretty clear which direction we want to go. We want to go to 10 Lisgar Ave. If we vote on it tonight, we go Grayfield, then we know where we're going. But we can, one way or the other, we're going to get some clarity for the town people. So I say leave it on the floor, and I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just need clarification. So the motion stands on the floor. Seconder is still fine with it. Perfect. The motion stands. Okay. One last time, this is an important topic. Any further comments before I make my comments? And I'm seeing none. From the beginning, I've been supportive of renovating the bays at 10 Lisgar. I don't think the town needs anything ostentatious. I don't think the taxpayer should be using tax dollars to pay for it. I think there was an understanding that we were gonna try and gather land sale dollars to use it. I also don't think that it's up to this council to build for 50 years out. So the people of today shouldn't be paying for 50 years down the road. And I think the phased approach at Lisgar would certainly soften the blow to the taxpayer, both in the short term and in the long term. And there is land around there that there could be expansion in the future. The cost of the Grayfield site is completely, not known. I know we have an estimate, but we're not truly gonna know until we put that backhoe in the ground and dig, to determine, because regardless of whatever is built on that property, safety of staff that's gonna be working in the building is paramount, so everything has to be gone if there's any type of contaminant at all for the safety of our employees, both now and in the future. So that would be all I would have to say on this. I will turn it over to the clerk, as Councilor Luciani has requested a recorded vote.
Madam Mayor, through you to council, when I call your name, please indicate either yes or no to the motion on the floor, starting with Councilor Luciani.
Yes.
Councilor Parker,
No.
Councilor Parsons,
Yes.
Councilor Rosehart,
No.
Councilor Spencer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Barris,
No.
Give us your microphone, Deputy.
No.
and Madam Mayor,
No.
Mr. Beal.
Great, debate and discussion. Are there any, notice of motions for the next meeting? This September's on the second, I believe. Seeing none, we will move to bylaws. Councilor Spencer.
Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barris, that the following bylaws be read for first, second, third, and final reading, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign the same and place the corporate seal thereunto. Bylaws 2025-062, 2025-063, 2025-069, 2025-071, 2025-072, 2025-073, and 2025-074.
Thank you. Any comments from council? All those in favor? And that's carried. Confirm proceedings bylaw, Deputy Mayor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Parsons, that bylaw 2025-070 to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held September 8, 2025 be read for the first, second, third, and final reading, so that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign the same and place the corporate seal thereunto.
Thank you. Any comments? All those in favor? Carried. We move to items of public interest, and I know the deputy mayor is speaking to start this evening.
I have a few. A few weeks ago, a short time ago, Councilor Spencer, CAO Pratt, and myself attended the annual conference in Ottawa. I went wearing two hats, so I sit on the Roma Board of Directors and Rural Ontario Municipal Association Board of Directors, and we had the privilege of speaking with a couple of the ministers. We met with Parliament. This is from the Roma point of view before I talk about what happened with the Tillsonburg side of it. We met with the parliamentary assistant for Minister Jones with the Ministry of Health. And we were talking with the minister about the common needs of the smaller communities, rural Ontario, and what are needed in terms of homelessness, which really fits into the healthcare system, and of course the shortage of doctors and primary care. And they're constantly taking information that it's not falling on a deaf ear. Healthcare is something that does fall on the shoulders of the province and not municipalities, same as education, and they are aware of it. But they need our input to the best of our ability, and they're not spinning their wheels in their mud. They're coming up with something, and they're getting as much input as possible from communities. The other minister we spoke to was Minister Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and we were talking about unhoused, physician shortages again, and economic development in the smaller rural communities. And again, we're not alone. There's 15 districts across Ontario with rural, with Roma, and we're all experiencing the same problems. So I shouldn't say the same problems, same challenges, and they have their ear open for that. We met with the Ontario Medical Association, which Councillor Spencer is going to report on. And talk about shortages and from the town's point of view, we met with the Attorney General, Doug Downing. And that was a good meeting. And what had happened there, Mayor, is a few weeks ago, there it is. A few weeks ago, we realized that the service clubs that are allotted a lottery permit in any municipality in Ontario are not permitted to take the proceeds from that lottery and contribute it back to communities. And that rule was changed some 20 years ago, and we brought it to the Solicitor General's attention. Solicitor General happened to be a service club member himself who wasn't aware of it. But the Honorable Michael Tibolo, who's the Associate Attorney General of Ontario, was there. He was well aware of it, and he said to us, they're going to look at this and see if they can overturn it, because they want service clubs to be able to, which we've done in the past. We've had the Lions Pool, we've had the Kinsman, everything's done by service clubs and spearheaded by it, and that has to stop according to taking the front door. He said to us, there are ways around it. For example, the soccer club has a board of directors. Service clubs can contribute to the board of directors, and they could turn around on municipal land and build capital. So there are loopholes in the system, but in the meantime, they are looking at having the laws repealed and having that work. So that was something that very positive came out of that. And the other thing, I guess the Ontario Medical Association, which Councillor Spencer will speak on. So those are the things that I wanted to bring up. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I do wear another hat. I'm the chair of the Long Point Conservation Authority, and this Sunday there's a dedication to the Memorial Forest, which is held at Bacchus. And actually it's September 21st. It's not this Sunday, it's 2 Sundays from now. And here is a list of the names, and many of them I recognize, of Tillsonburg people who have passed within the last year, and the families have given funds to dedicate towards the Memorial Forest. So I'll be there doing the presentation for that. So if you could join us on Sunday, September 21st, if you made a contribution, it's at 2 p.m. and we'd love to agree to it, Bacchus, with this information. That's my report, and the OMA stuff, I guess, that's what would like to speak on.
I just wanted to say, it feels like we've been chasing the tail on this lottery issue for a couple of years, so this is great news.
We got somewhere.
We can finally get some action on this.
We're having
Service
some-
clubs will be happy, and so will we.
Exactly, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Spencer.
Well, thank you. Regarding the annual conference, for those that don't know what AMO, it's a conference for Ontario municipalities. Lots of great information through the concurrent conference sessions, as well as delegations with ministers and organizations, as Deputy Mayor said. Our delegation with the Ontario Medical Association was very positive. They're looking at changes for one of the medical organizations known as FO or FHO, Family Health Organization, that's quite positive and favorable. They're referring to the changes they're making as FO Plus, and it'll be rolling out at the end of September, as well as working with family health teams. Also, our local historical site, Station Arts Center, will be holding their annual fundraiser and gala on Saturday, October 4th. Information for tickets on their website. There is a silent and live auction, and a catered meal and a really fun theme every year. This year's theme is Bridgerton. And finally, the editor of our local newspaper, Jeff Helston, and town staffer from the museum, Kate Bakos. They have some fundraising efforts happening. They did a walk that was from 200 years ago, when Tillsonburg founder George Tilson walked from Normandale to the town of Delhi to bear his name. And the two of them recreated this portion, or to Tillsonburg rather, and the two of them recreated the portion from Normandale to Delhi. to see what he endured. It was 28 kilometers, 37,000 steps. He says to watch for observations in the 200th anniversary edition of the Tillsonburg Post. And that he feels the walk may be forming the foundation for future fundraising for the museum. And that anyone that is interested in donating can do so by calling the museum, and tax receipts for over $25 donations will be provided. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Rosa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a new little business that opened up in town on the south end, and it's called Rain or Shine Playtime. And it's at 55 Broadway, and it's a beautiful place. So anybody with children can go there for the day and have fun. Thank you.
I have a few sports things. Congratulations to the U14 rep team from Tillsonburg Minor Baseball, who came home with silver medals from the OBA championships, as well as Tillsonburg Red Sox placed fourth at OBAs. Men's and ladies slow pitch playoffs are ongoing. I believe the ladies finals are tonight and Wednesday, with the men's finals starting next Tuesday, weather permitting. And then also winter sports are starting to creep up. So hockey, ringette, they're starting to go in full swing. And I assume that Andrea will be talking about ice at some point in the near future and memorials. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I figured that they must have started making ice already. Getting the big nod on that one. Carlos, you going around, to see what's, yeah. Councilor Lucien.
Nothing, thank
Councilor Carson. Want to say kudos to the Shriners. It was a wonderful event. Pork was great and the sauce was fantastic. And we had a good turnout, so congratulations on their great event. And guess we have to. Sorry, we need adjournment. Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Worship. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Luciani, that the council meeting of September 8th, 2025 be adjourned at 7:37 p.m. Thank you.
All those in favor? Carried. Good evening.